Hello, students. Let's proceed further with the next chapter in Social Science, Standard 7. The chapter about which we are going to discuss today, what we are going to learn today, is all about chapter number 4, the Rajput Age. The Rajput Age, considered to be the unforgettable era. Why is it considered to be unforgettable? That is what we are going to learn in the chapter. We are going to know and learn, in short, about the Rajput Age. To begin with, let's see the map of India during the Rajput Age. The map is not that much clear, but you'll get to see some of the names which are stated over here. These are the places where the Rajputs ruled. To begin with, curiosity to know something about the past is always the desire of a student, and that is what creates interest in history. Let me repeat this one more time for you. Curiosity to know something about the past is always the desire of a student, and that is what creates interest in history. To begin with, let's try to recollect the historical places we visited during our vacations. What did we see there? What we saw old structures, monuments, palaces constructed by the kings in ancient times, which stand as it is even today. So, we can come to know the difference between the construction of present times and the kind of construction or the kind of work that was done in earlier times or the earlier ages when the kings used to rule. Now, to begin with, let us see the rise of new dynasties during the Rajput rule. The new dynasties which came up in India during this Rajput age. After the death of Emperor Harshvardhan, we already studied about him in chapter number 1, that is in two big states, Kanauj. After the death of Emperor Harshvardhan, in the middle of 17th century, many feudal chieftains, chieftain means leaders of people, and landlords declared themselves to be independent and founded new dynasties and turned out to be rulers. So here the chieftains, they turned out to be rulers. Now let us first know who these feudal chieftains and feudal landlords were. In olden times, the king divided his large empire in 3 provinces. And the person who was assigned the responsibility of collecting land revenue was called a feudal landlord. So here we can clearly know who was a feudal landlord. That is, the person who was assigned the responsibility of collecting land revenue was called a feudal landlord. Now, because of this, what was the result? What happened because of the power that was given by the kings to the people? Result of the power given to collect land revenue. So here they are specifically mentioning about what happened because of the power given to collect the land revenue. The landlord gave some portion of land revenue to the king, and he kept the rest with him, out of which he maintained the army. He sent his army whenever the king needed help. As time passed, these landlords became powerful and feudalism came into existence. That is, resulting the feudal lords and chieftains turned out to be rulers. So these landlords, they turned out to be rulers because of the power that was given to them to collect the land revenue. Now let us see the states that were ruled, or these chief rulers who started ruling in different parts of India. These chief rulers started ruling in the states of India. And mainly here they are mentioning about the two parts of our country. One is in North India and the second is in South India. Let us see the dynasties of North India first. The Gurjar, the Pratihara, Pal, Chalukya, Parmar, Chauhan, etc. So these were the dynasties which started ruling in the North India during the Rajput era. Now here you can see very much clearly in the map the Pratihara dynasty, the Pala dynasty, Rashtrakuta. Here also you can find out all these dynasties which ruled in India during this time. Now let's go ahead. At first, let us know in short about the dynasties of North India. After the death of King Harshvardhan, many kings ascended the throne of Kanauj. Among them, Yashovarma is considered as a powerful ruler. After him, the Pratihara dynasty established its rule in Kanauj. They protected India from Arab invasions. Mihir Bhoj, who was also known as Bhoj, was the most powerful ruler of this dynasty. He fought many battles with the Rashtrakutas during his reign. Here you can see King Yashovarma, who was considered to be a very powerful king. Something about Parmar dynasty now. The kings, King Munj and King Bhoj, both were good rulers as well as good poets too. Where did they rule? They ruled Malwa. And which were the main cities of Malwa? Ujjain and Dharanagari were the cities of Malwa where these kings ruled. Once again, two good qualities are given. They were not only good rulers, but they were good poets too. Here you can find King Mihir Bhoj, Gurjar Samrat, also known as Gurjar Samrat, King Mihir Bhoj. King Bhoj made Dharanagari the center of studies, that is Vidyanagari, and established a university. University means Vidyapit, for the study of Sanskrit literature. Many architectural monuments were built during this time. The Parmars fought many battles with the Chalukyas of the south. After the death of King Bhoj, the kingdom of Malwa became weak. So till the time King Bhoj was ruling, the kingdom was considered to be very powerful. But after his death, after the death of King Bhoj, the kingdom of Malwa became weak. Now something about Pal dynasty and Sen dynasty. They ruled in Bengal. The rulers of the Pala dynasty had added Pala to their names, and so their dynasty was known as the Pal dynasty. So what you read over here, Pal dynasty, also known as Pala dynasty. What we learned is they ruled in Bengal. The rulers of the Pala dynasty had added Pala to their names, and so their dynasty was known as the Pala dynasty. The Chauhan dynasty or Chaman dynasty. Many Rajput rulers ruled over various parts of Rajasthan during 7th and 8th century. Of them, one branch ruled over Shakambari, a place near Lake Sambar, which is to the north of Ajmer. In the beginning of the 8th century, Ajay Raj ascended the throne of Shakambari in the 12th century. He established the city of Ajay-Meru, which later came to be known as Ajmer. So Ajay-Meru, the city Ajay-Meru was later came to be known as Ajmer. About the Chauhan dynasty. The rulers of Chauhan dynasty captured Delhi, the capital of the Tomar kings, and established their supremacy over there. Prithviraj III or Rai Pithora was a powerful ruler of the Chauhan dynasty. He is unparalleled in the history of India. Many stories and folk songs have been written about his bravery on the battlefield. Chand Bardai, a famous poet, has written about Prithviraj Chauhan's valor in his epic Prithviraj Raso. The next one, the Gohils or Guhils of Mewar, who were later known as the Sisodia Rajputs, hold a unique position in medieval history. It is said that Bapa Rawal established this dynasty. During the Rajput era, the Chet dynasty ruled over Jabalpur, which is to the south of river Narmada. It was known as the Chet dynasty of Kalchuri with its capital at Tripuri. In the medieval era in Gujarat, the Rajput dynasties of the Chaudas, followed by the Solonkis, ruled over Anilwad Patan. Now going to the next. Previously what we saw was about the dynasties of the north. Now going to the south. The dynasties are the Pallavas, Rashtrakutas, Kalyani Chalukya, Cher, Pandya, Chola, etc. You can see in the map the different dynasties. You can find the Chalukyas over here, the Cheras, the Pandyas, the Kalchuri dynasty. Here you can find the state of Kanauj. That was considered as the empire of Harsha. That is Empire Harshvardhan. During the Rajput era, many big and small states were established in South India. After the demise of Pulkeshi II, his vast empire disintegrated into smaller states. So from big, it turned out into smaller states. The reign of many rulers of the Chalukya dynasty is noteworthy, very well known. Today also, the rule or the reign of many rulers of Chalukya dynasty is well known, noteworthy. The kingdom of the Pallava and the Chola dynasties are also included in the states of South India. Narsivarma was a strong ruler of the Pallava dynasty. The emperors of this dynasty were lovers of art and literature. The Kailasnath temple of Kanchi is the biggest example of Pallava architecture. Something very important for us to know. I'm reading it again. The Kailashnath temple of Kanchi, very famous temple, is the best example of the Pallava architecture. You can see over here the Chola Empire. The pink one. This is the Cholas. Let's go ahead with the next. That is the Chola dynasty. The Chola dynasty also ruled in the south. That's what we saw in the map. Tanjore was their capital. The rulers of Chola dynasty attacked Ceylon. Ceylon is Sri Lanka and annexed many territories. Annex means to take over, capture many territories. The Cholas had a powerful navy because of which they could attack countries even across the sea. Rajaraja I adopted a very systematic way of administration in his state. He started with the measurement of land and local self-government. Now here you can see clear image of the different dynasties. Chalukyas, Rashtrakutas, Chola, Pandya, Chera. Here you can see Ceylon, that is Sri Lanka. Now something about that, what we saw in the map. The Rashtrakuta, Chera and Pandya dynasties also ruled in South India. So it is evident that many dynasties ruled at different places during the Rajput age. There were frequent battles between them to annex each other's areas. Due to the internal conflicts, there was no unity among them. When there is no unity, you can come to know, dear students, there will be and there is sure going to be a downfall. Foreign invaders took advantage of this. Because due to the internal conflicts, there was no unity among them, and the foreign invaders took advantage of this. Rashtrakutas ruled South India. With the fall of Chalukya dynasty, Rashtrakuta came to power. Rashtrakuta means head of a state or area. It is believed that the founder of the dynasty was an officer of that community, and hence the dynasty was named after him. Out of many rulers, Govind III was the most powerful king. The Pandyas also ruled over South India. The Pandya dynasty is believed to be very ancient. Megasthenes, the Greek traveler, notes that females used to rule in this community. The inscriptions of Emperor Ashok contain references to the Pandyas. The Pandyas ruled in present-day Madurai and Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu. Cheras ruled over South India. Chera is now known as Kerala. In ancient time, Kerala was a part of Tamil state. Later on, it separated. Once again, I am repeating this. In ancient time, Kerala was a part of Tamil state. Later on, it separated. Kepal Putra Rajya is mentioned in the inscription of Ashoka. Athan too was the first strong ruler of this dynasty. Cheran Setugnavan was a powerful ruler of this dynasty. Now something to learn about at the end of the chapter. You can see very clearly written over here, the brave Rajput woman, Rajputanis, fighting in the battlefield. And that's why they were known as the pride of Rajput rulers. Rajputs were very brave. They felt proud to give up their lives for their country. To die, but never fear to protect those who seek refuge, to speak the truth and fight for truth were their special traits, that is, special characteristics. Rajput women, also known as Rajputanis, were known for their chastity and fearlessness. They sent their husbands, sons, and brothers to the battlefield with a smiling face. They were so brave that if need be, they would fight on the battlefield. And that is what we saw in the image. The Rajputani on the battlefield with a sword in her hand to fight for the country. They preferred Johar, meaning to burn alive, if their husbands were defeated or attend martyrdom in wars. The historic stories of the Rajput age are engraved in golden letters in the history of India. So, this last part of the chapter makes us feel very proud of the Rajput woman known as the Rajputanis. To end up with a small caption for you, knowing and learning about history makes us feel proud of our ancestors and our country. And that is what this chapter number 4, the Rajput era, reminds us of. Thank you. Have a nice day.